The girl's heart stuttered in her chest before resuming its fast pace. A staccato beat thundered against her ribcage. She gasped for air as her eyes adjusted to the new darkness. The moon slid behind a clump of clouds. She didn't know where she was without light. Or with. The wooded area had a familiar feel to it. Like if she had run away during the day, she might have been able to find something she recognized. But in the dark, everything was different, scary, and unknown. She leaned against a tree to catch her breath. A burning sensation radiated up her throat with every breath.
Now, why would you make this any harder than it needs to be?
A shudder rippled through her. She started moving. The man's voice rubbed against her skin like sandpaper. It was closer than it should have been. She felt like she had been running for hours, going in circles. All the trees looked the same in the darkness, but she kept moving. She had to. At this point, she couldn't go back. She didn't know what was going to happen, but she knew it wasn't good. The man had taken her days ago, maybe weeks. Time slipped by so quickly. It slipped through her fingers like water. She could never hold on to it, never keep track of it. The days blended together so seamlessly that she couldn't tell where one ended and the other began.
Come on now.
His voice was closer now. The girl moved through the trees, searching for any ounce of light that she could find, or an opening.
I'm going to find you eventually. There's no point in trying to get away.
Her foot snagged on a fallen branch, and she stumbled, a yelp escaping from her mouth while she tried to fix her footing. Her hand clamped over her mouth. A soft chuckle came from behind her. She ran, stumbling over branches and rocks. She had to get away.
I just have to make one more stop and I'll take you home,
the man had said when he shoved her into the passenger side of his car. He had said he was taking her home, and she had wanted to believe him. She wanted to go home to her mother and father. She pictured their faces as the car bumped along on the road. She pictured how happy they would be that she had finally come back home. But something soured in her stomach. No matter how she tried to relax or how she tried to hope, to believe that she was going home, her body wouldn't let her. Her shoulders stayed tense. Her muscles stayed alert, her mind calculating. There was something not right about her ride home. Just like deep down she knew there was something not right about him when he offered to take her home. She knew him, or rather, she knew of him. He was a lovely man. Everyone said so. He had seemed so kind when he stopped her from walking, so genuinely concerned about her safety.
I wouldn't want a daughter of mine walking home so late at night. There are too many creeps out there today. It's not like when I was a kid. Back then, we knew who the creeps were and how to avoid them. But now, it could be anyone.
How could she have known he was talking about himself? But something in her knew. Her bones screamed, "Run!" Her hand had found the lock, and she was ready to open the door, but she couldn't. She couldn't do it. Though her body told her one thing, her mind told her another. Stop being paranoid. He's just a nice man. Don't be rude. He had kindly offered to drive her home, even though she lived one town over. It would be rude to think he was out to hurt her. She should have listened, though. She should have listened to her body, opened the door, jumped out of the moving car, and ran for her life. But she hadn't. When he then shoved her into the trunk and told her he was taking her home, her body spoke up again. Her body told her to run, try to escape. And that time, she listened. As soon as he popped the trunk, she took the flashlight in her hand and swung it. He yelped and stumbled back. Taking the opening, she crawled out of the car and ran. She knew he wasn't taking her home. The wooded area she was now stumbling through was nowhere near her house, nowhere near her parents. He had lied. He was probably bringing her out to kill her. If he were, he'd have to work for it.